Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel called zuzanareacts, where I learn all things para with your help, and I just share my Slovak Central European point of view. And today's video concludes the part 3 of the Abhijit podcast with the ex-CFO of Infosys. And I am just so excited to get into that. But before we do,
please like this video and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay, so it's always so hard for me to try to figure out where the pause should be in those videos because it's so continuous. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to forward a bit earlier to the previous section, and so we can just like feel where we left off, and let's continue.
Against everybody, against the Pope, Islam, everybody. They had no agenda except to poke fun and satire. But in Memphis, they did only for this. So when people protested, when I looked at it, I said, yes, they got grounds to protest because you have not lived up to what people expect. You're not too liberal. You can't be so focused on one. You understand?
Yes, totally.
Which people forget.
Yes.
And blame people who protested. Oh, you drove him. Let him go.
Yeah.
You want to leave, go.
Yes.
Nobody's forcing you to stay in this country. People want to stay, will stay. That's a liberal society.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes, totally.
So why should they don't know if you're getting back India will lose? India never loses here. We've been around 5,000 years. We'll be around for 10,000. Forget about it.
Is the diaspora an asset for India?
Diaspora is an asset and a liability.
Both.
Because the diaspora, which has become part of the diaspora, become very abusive against India, which is indulging in fake reports, trying to do many things like Raghuram Rajan, Arvind Subramaniam, Kaushik Basu, run fake narratives against India. So Raghuram Rajan shows some kind of uneasiness about doing it.
Okay.
Kaushik Basu is very clear. The man then asks some taxi, he does what is called taxi economics. And
taxi driver economics.
Taxi driver economics.
Yes,
And, Arvind Subramaniam does the same thing. But we don't need them. And they are the ones in faculty and everybody driving this caste narrative. India is a misogynistic, India is a caste. We don't need them yet. We should disown all these people.
Right.
That guy, Joker, Robert, the Swain.
Ashok Swain.
Ashok Swain.
Good God.
Today is a case in the court because they took his OIC, OIC, PIO
card. Whatever, yeah.
And you are saying, oh, I'm an academic, I'm the UNESCO chair for this. He's a very abusive, bigoted character. Look at all these tweets and his writing.
Yes.
He's abusive and bigoted. Why should we give him a privilege of coming back? Remove the privilege. No, PIO card is a privilege, not a right.
It's not a right.
Because you're not an Indian citizen.
Yes.
You're not an Indian citizen, it's a right.
Yes.
So the court has said, your order denying him that is not detailed, do that. But why should it be supported? I mean, why are you doing these Khalistanis who go fight and burn the Indian flag, remove their OIC, PIO? They're fine. They made a choice. They're outside. Okay. They're no friends of India.
Yes.
We should take tough stand.
Definitely.
We should take a tough stand. Have you ever seen an American come to India and abuse America?
It'll never happen.
Never.
Yes, but we do it.
We do it.
Yeah.
Because we are broken, we are bought over, and for many of these academics, selling India, abusing India is the key. Look at Rashmi Saman's book, what she says, how she suffered subtle racism in Oxford, in Cambridge. That's the key. Because these Indians have sold their souls to the white man, and they go abuse the country, and they go up in their esteem and they abuse this country more. But they've been out for 20 years, they don't know what is happening in this country.
Yes.
So they pick up one incident, India is this, who cares a shit? And that's why more young Indians are standing up for the country and say, you are no longer a thing, forget it, will not respect you.
Yes.
There's a young, assertive India coming up, and that is a great future. Which believe in the civilization, believe in what they are, and believe in the country. That's what Modi has done, and that's very good. We should jettison this old generation who sold their souls to the white man into all these countries, still abuse them. So part of the diaspora is a big strength. There are many of them in business, others who feel for this country who come.
Right.
Part of them are not. In fact, I remember my colleague in Infosys saying her family, one person had come here, and she said, oh my God, you got a big house, you got a big car. Oh, we have it there. I got a big house in the US. Yeah, she said, you got a mortgage? I don't have a mortgage. I don't have any debt. They're all shocked that we're doing so well.
Right, yes.
In fact, I was in a seminar in Chicago in the World Hindu Congress. I was in a panel.
Okay.
In that panel, one Indian American came and said, oh, India can't do this, India can't do that, India can't do this, blah, 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 blah. 10 minutes went on rubbishing India. Then I stood up and said, gentlemen, I want to tell you one thing. Yes, India has got many problems. India has got many challenges. We are an impoverished, looted country. And we made a mistake. But now we are coming up, we are doing this. Please remember, we are staying back, fighting the battle, growing the economy, paying our taxes.
Yes.
This is our country. You left this country for better economic prospects 20 years ago. What is your stake in the country? Nothing. You're nothing but an economic refugee. You left it for economic status. You're an economic refugee, man. And you're preaching to us. I said, don't preach. We can debate and you can advise it, but don't preach. We're not going to accept it anymore. Openly in the audience of 1,500 people. Some of the NRS felt very bad. I said, you're economic refugees.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yes.
It's a fact.
Yes.
You don't want to help India, we are fine, yeah. We don't need it. Don't abuse India. Don't, run fake narratives against India. Correct?
Yes.
That's it. We respect you. And this tendency amongst Indians to jump up and down with joy. Oh, Satya Nadella has become, president of, or the CEO of, okay, great. We should applaud it. That's it. Satya is not going to do anything for India because he become president. He'll do it for his company.
Totally.
If the company doesn't make it in India, it's not going to do anything. Forget it. We should not have this expectation.
I don't get why we get so excited when
Because
India
we are
succeeds.
Because we have this third-rate attitude of insecurity. Oh, they done well. You can't do well in India. Our startup entrepreneurs so well. They do well. India's economy is only 3.4 trillion. There, the GDP is 25 trillion. That's a different ballgame, man.
Yes.
Opportunities there are much bigger. So we are growing. We'll grow there. We made wrong choices in the first 35, 40 years. We're suffering for that even now. If Nehru had just opened up the economy, we had grown at 4.5% or 6.5% Asia grew, our GDP would have been maybe 12, 13 trillion.
Right, yes.
It's interesting what he's saying there, because he says exactly what like a Slovak person living in Slovakia would say to someone like me. I'm just telling you that because I've lived for so long away. But in Slovakia, it's funny. They don't want you being back, actually. They feel that they're threatened by your experience from abroad and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a different mentality, but I find these similarities actually between the mentality in Indian and Slovak here right now. So as to what he was mentioning and yeah, about the country and stuff like that. And yeah, for example, we also, Slovakia is like fairly new country. I'm not saying like I'm trying to compare India and Slovakia in that sense, but like, you know, we are, I think, way newer than India in the modern day era, because the country was only for 1993. But it's just kind of I see, you know, these parts of mentality very similar. And yeah, economical refugees, but you can still be away and support your country if that's what you wish to do. So yeah, I mean, I think on one hand, you know, there will be always people that are staying and there will always be people that are leaving, and everyone has their own reasons, right, for leaving. And usually we leave to, you know, lead a better life. That's kind of not really why I left Slovakia, but it looks like, you know, for Indian, they just want to have better opportunities. And can you blame someone that wants to leave the country? It's everyone's choice. And but I also feel like, you know, when we get also excited where we see, you know, Slovak people in like high position, because we are such a small nation, right? We're tiny, and that it feels very, you know, motivating. Like you can do that. I think from that point of view, I don't think we would look at it as sharply as this gentleman is suggesting, but we would look at it like, oh, you know, we're such a tiny nation, but we have smart people there and there and there. Whereas, you know, when you are a big nation, it's expected that you have many smart people, but because we're so tiny, to us, it feels, you know, like, even I don't think we would criticize for living abroad, but we would be more like, you know, this is what's possible. There are good Slovak smart people out there. So yeah, just a bit of a insight from my end.
No, people should question that. They will not question. They're all bottom-up people. Oh, Nehru. Yes, he did many good things, but he did many wrong things also, which hurt India, very badly.
What are the things the government can do to improve the state of manufacturing in India? Clearly, we need to export lots of stuff to the world. So what can we do to improve?
The PLI scheme is a very good scheme because it is tackling a very important thing where people say it is not viable for us to manufacture in this country because of supply chain lack of thing. The PLI will give a benefit for that. It's a very good scheme.
Okay.
Because we should have done the PLI scheme 10, 15 years ago. Instead of that, we gave some subsidy scheme, but PLI is very good. It's based on manufacturing and more greater manufacturing.
Okay.
Today, I think in electronic assembly for mobile, value added has gone up to 20%. Hopefully, it should go to 30% when display devices are built in this country.
Okay.
But that is good news. That will happen because we are a large consumer. We should do it here. Second thing, what they must do is they must make sure that the investment lead to lower logistic costs. Our logistic costs are 14% of GDP before GST and the roads. Now must have come down to 11% of GDP, must bring it down to 8%.
Okay.
So you can manufacture in the heart of India and ship it to the ports. China is 6 to 7%.
I see.
So our roads are being built, our railways used to run at 25 kilometers an hour. Now they say we want at 45 kilometers an hour. Same rolling stock, 25 kilometers an hour. You run at 45, you need half of that, yeah. Your costs come down.
Yes.
So they're running it because people like Lalu Gilu never understood what the railways were. And we were wrong to put some unthinking people there.
Yes,
praise them and say, Lalu ne ye kiya. Lalu did nothing. He's a Lalu. And we must really tell people what they are. So I think that is important. The third thing is power costs. Our power costs are very high for industry because they use the higher power cost to subsidize people. The subsidy should come from the budget. That's what the electricity bill says. and it says that subsidy cannot be more than 20%, then you must end. They're still not done it. What is it still not done it? Because they promise free power, free this. Whose money is it?
Yes.
I mean, man in Punjab is saying, I gave 21,000 crores of power. 21,000 crores, huge amount of money for Punjab. If you spend 10,000 crores of that in educating in Punjab, you would have been better off in 10 years.
Yes, right.
Is it free power dega, ye dega? Same Kejriwal brainless move, because it's buying people, free power, free water. I mean, everything has a damn cost here. And cost is going up. It's not going to come down. You're taxing people and giving somebody free. What about the rest? Where's development? So I think things are happening in a way where we will see development. So manufacturing can go up when you do this. And then the attitude of the Indian manufacturer has to change. That, I'm sorry, is not happening.
Okay.
So we have to give them greater scale because they have to look at exports. In two-wheelers, Rajiv Bajaj is exporting. Two-wheelers, 25-30% of our vehicles are getting exported.
Okay.
Cars, Maruti is doing, others, Tatas and all should do it. So manufacturing. Steel. I mean, we should go up to 300 million tons and export the steel. We're not doing it because it's so profitable here. Every time the steel, China comes and dumps, they go to government raises a tariff. Government say, forget it, man, you fight the battle. You're like Satyan Madanda say, you got 2 to 3%, which is very low. But you got 15-16% operating margin, man. Come down to 10%. So the attitude of global scale should come. It's coming now because of technology, robotics and all that. But that's where you must scale up. India has no shortage of capital for good companies. India has no shortage of markets. The pricing is right. India has no shortage of managerial talent if you want to run. But the key thing is the vision and the passion of Indian entrepreneurs.
Right.
If 500 industry leaders say, we're going to have 25% revenues coming from exports in the next 10 years in manufacturing, India will change. Look at the IT software industry, Abhijit.
Yes.
Last year, we exported $200 billion of software.
Right. 60%
of global outsourcing comes here. 5.5 million people were employed. 500,000 were hired that year, largest for any country in any year. 60% outsourced, about 55-60% is to America. Okay. $135 billion of money came in as foreign exchange. That was spent overseas. That's the history. Next is, of the top 10 software service companies by market value, 5 are Indian. By market value. Top 5, 3 are Indian. TCS, then Accenture. Then we have Infosys. And we have Cognizant, etc. And one more Capgemini, somebody. Okay. Of the 3.2 million employees in the top 10, 2.3 million are Indians. We dominate. Bangalore has 2.3 million people working in technology, more than Silicon Valley.
I see.
And by 2026, we'll have more people working in technology in India than in America.
I see.
America has 10 million people working in technology, 6 million in America, out of which 1 million are Indians. Out of 4.5 million Indians, 1 million reportedly work in the company, plus H1B and all that.
Okay.
And out of the 4 million working for America globally, 3 million come from India out of the 5.5. So 4 million of the 10 million working for American companies, software Indians. And we dominate. We are the country which is the largest pool of human talent in IT in the world.
Yes.
And we are growing.
Yes.
China too they've got exported, but they're not export oriented, they're not overseas export. And now, if you look at the balance of payments, you get a very funny thing. We import about $220 billion of oil. We export about $75-80 billion. We got $125-130 billion of deficit. We're exporting $135 billion software. So, and this software is exported by 1% of our workforce. Workforce is 550 million, 5.5 million a year.
Okay.
And we export more software than Saudi Arabia exports oil. Look at this great country. And because of that, the balance of payment is coming down. The deficit is coming down. We have a trade deficit about $210 billion. And we have a surplus in service of $145, $150, $160 billion. Balance comes as FDI, 2% FDI, and FPI's money coming in. So if the balance of payments improves and the service are moving in double digits, we will soon see a time when the currency depreciation will stop.
Right.
That will be the time when our true economic growth will be reflected in dollars. I mean, the rupee went down from 75 to 80 to people like Kaushik Basu jumping up and down. Bangladesh has got more per capita income than India. Yeah, Bangladesh has done very well, but it's an unsophisticated economy. It depends on remittances and garments and etc.
Garments, yes.
Underpaying the women, exploiting the labor there for $55-60 billion. Yes, all the social Indians have done well. It's a very special case. But to jump up and down, India has been overtaken by this. What has Modi done? That's the whole point.
Right.
Now India has grown further. Nobody talks about it. And Bangladesh currencies were overvalued. They're losing their reserves and all that, whereas India's reserves are going up.
Right.
So if you look at what happened in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, what happened in Pakistan, what a basket case, terrible basket case.
Yes.
They're living in delusion. That country lives in delusion. And what is going to happen in Bangladesh if things don't work out, it is scary.
Right.
India has done well and we don't get credit. So that will solve our big problem. In our economy, the biggest challenge is the fact that we need overseas dollars and all to come in because we have a huge trade deficit. Now, the trade deficit can go up if we start manufacturing more and exporting. And to manufacture more and exporting, we must bill at lower costs, except lower profits.
Right.
And I'm sure the capital markets will understand that. Let me give some data also, Abhijit.
Okay.
Last year, CBTD issued a circular to say that they collected 10,04,000 crores of corporate tax for the entire system.
Okay.
10,04,000 crores at a tax rate of 25%. Because the corporate tax 25%, effective tax rate is what the actual rate is, but take 25. Pre-tax income of 40 lakh crores.
40 lakh crores.
25, this 25% to 4.
Yes.
GDP is 273 lakh crores. 15%.
15% of GDP.
15% of GDP is corporate profits, man. Invest, grow and scale. Now
Right.
they're doing it.
Right.
So government must get out of the way and help them
Yes.
do that.
Mhm.
And now, one of these pencilings say, oh, Ambani is bad. And then how can you abuse industries who've done very well for this country and create jobs? They're the ones who created wealth, not you, man. You are living in luxury in Delhi because the wealth of the taxpayers. You're living in luxury. What is it that you are contributing to the income? Nothing. And you abuse the people who contribute to that. Attitude should go.
Yes.
The Gujaratis have got the right attitude.
Right.
Because so I think so. India is very positive. You must carry this story to every young Indian. Jobs are being created. The problem with jobs is this: 80% jobs pay less than 25,000 rupees a month. That's not enough.
Yes.
People want 45, 50,000 rupees a month.
Yes.
So we're not producing the kind of jobs.
Mhm.
And how do you produce more kind of jobs? You produce more kind of job by making them more productive, by expanding the economy, at which time it will come.
Right.
Just the other day, somebody told me that, I don't know, I'm going to check up the data. They said in neighboring Hosur, minimum wages in manufacturing is 12,000 rupees.
Okay.
In Bangalore is 20,000 rupees.
I see.
So no wonder that Bangalore is losing out some business. People want cheaper labor. But why should they get only 12,000? Why can't they increase to 15,000? You're exploiting labor.
Mhm.
For
Yes.
what reason? People will still come.
Yes.
Because with automation, labor use is less.
Black Friday na Bonami.sk. To je najväčšia ponuka zliav pre váš domov.
Spoločnosť EUI vyhlasuje 18. ročník súťaže EUI Podnikateľ roka, takže prihlasujte sa alebo nominujte podnikateľa, ktorý môže byť inšpiráciou.
Automation is creating new jobs. So we have to grow, and for the growth, export is important. And though they must make this commitment and work towards that. See, today, manufacturing is becoming robotic.
Mhm. Yes.
The robots cost almost the same all over the world. So you set up a factory, land building, cost may be similar, robots are similar,
Uh-huh.
and then electricity tariff, labor cost has come down. In the value-added labor was 40%, now maybe come to 20, 25%. So productive doesn't matter more. And the robots will work 24/7. A friend of mine went to China, saw a factory 1 kilometer deep by half a kilometer, no lights. They said, nobody working, they're all robots.
I see.
And they're working. Something goes wrong, red light come, we go to the PC and it's like, check it up. And then the goods are manufactured, put outside, the lorry takes it away, autonomous vehicles.
I see.
That's become like that. So Indian industry is going into robotics in a heavy way,
Right.
setting up new factories, cost will come down.
Uh-huh.
So they must create scale and excess capacity, and they must export. The thinking is now coming, because now investment says will go up to 250 million tons of steel.
Okay.
It should go to 300. Government has spoken. The mindset of industry should change. Government is doing all that it can.
Uh-huh.
Infrastructure, roads, railways, and all that.
Uh-huh.
But now the problem is the state governments in many states have become very corrupt. To get a building approval in Bangalore, you have to pay bribes. To get an occupancy certificate, you have to pay. It doesn't matter whether BJP or Congress, both are doing it. But what people say is, it has been there in Tamil Nadu for long, but once you take the bribe, they do the work. Here, they don't do the work. And I heard in Karnataka, I'm not blaming the Congress, the BJP, both are the same. I heard in Karnataka that officials form a consortium, put in money, and pay a bribe to get one of them appointed in a place where they have to give approval. And then they make money. For my building approval near the Manipal University, they asked for a bribe of 10 lakhs. I said, I'm not going to give it. I went to the minister and spoke to everybody. That officer is saying, sir, what can I do, sir? I paid 1 crore for this seat, sir. I have to recover the money, sir. How can I not recover the money? What do I do?
I see.
That is a tragedy. So they have to reduce that thing.
Yes.
Ola was here. They went to Hosur. And then you had Ather here, EV vehicle man. They went to Hosur.
Okay.
Where this government did not give them land. They could have given them land in Kolar Goldfields or somewhere, and that the minister was a very corrupt fellow. So this should stop. The states are holding back India's growth.
That's a problem.
States. Hopefully Yogi will demonstrate that and take it up. Maharashtra.
But sorry, I'll just pause there. Yeah, but it's everywhere. Like Slovakia is also very corrupt. Corruption is everywhere, but I feel like different countries shout about it differently. Like, of course there's corruption in the UK, of course there's corruption in the US, right? But like, we don't really hear that much about it. But when it comes to countries that are like maybe underdeveloped, you hear all these scandals, and I'm like, give me a break, It is just, I think that the English and Americans are smarter to cover it better. But interesting, he's like calling out the shit in India. I mean, wow, he's got some balls, this man. I like him.
Should now become more proactive. Gujarat is becoming more proactive. See, Gujarat has got a big problem that they have to solve. If you look at the composition of the GDP, 45% of Gujarat GDP is manufacturing.
Okay.
35% is services. Balance is agriculture. In Karnataka, 66% is services.
Okay.
And then manufacturing is 20%.
I see.
and agriculture, 20% is 86, 14%. And the income in services is 5 times the income that you get in agriculture and 3.5 times what you get in industry.
Okay.
That means services are not developed there, and you can't go on having manufacturing, because when you have manufacturing, more and more substitutes. For example, Micron. When Micron comes, you may invest $1, $2, $3, $4 billion. It's not going to produce so many jobs because it's fully automated.
Yes.
You're going to spend so much of money. And for the skill world, the Gujaratis, do you think they have the skills of the training? They don't. They'll get people from outside. Then the lower level for industry, bearing wage. You think the Gujaratis come there? They don't come. The Biharis come, everybody comes.
Okay.
Like Modi said, Bihar ke log aate hain, kaam karte hain. Jab wo jaate hain वापस बिहार को, सबसे कहते हैं कि गुजरात का कितना डेवलपमेंट हुआ है.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So your people are not in the who's. So where are the high quality jobs being created?
Exactly. Yes.
I went to Ahmedabad and I walked around. You don't see so many people like in Delhi or Bangalore or in the old Bombay, well dressed and well educated. You don't see them so much.
Okay.
They're very thin layer. So the middle class is lower. Of course, the richer class and trading class are getting richer. Middle class, you require a huge middle class.
We do.
The middle class with good paying jobs, highly educated, do this. So Gujarat has got a structural problem which they have to solve.
Okay. Interesting.
See, that's what.
This is very interesting, because here in the West, what they're trying to do is completely destroy the middle class. And also, it's interesting in Russia, it feels like, I was just talking to someone very recently, but it's his experience from maybe like 5 years ago or so, that he's been there in like a work project for a year. And he felt like there is just super rich or super poor, no one in the middle. And I think the kind of inflation, everything that's happening in the West is very much to destroy I somehow perceive it as like there is a strong push to destroy the middle class. Or you'll have very rich or you'll have poor people, and it's just shocking. So it's good to know that you guys have still middle class.
You must analyze the GDP. I'll give you a report. Analyze the GDP. Look at all the data. Understand the nuance and see what has to be done. Each state should have its own thinking how it can grow its economy. Government of India makes policy, but they must have their own policies. Focus on those areas which give them the greatest return: education, skill development, etc. That's not happening because the thinking is very poor.
Right. Very interesting. Something to ponder about.
Yeah.
So you were the CFO for Infosys, and you were involved with the company from the very beginning. Could you please tell the story of the...
No. Actually, Infosys was formed in 81 in Pune by Narayan Murthy. He used to work in Patni Computers. Then he left because of certain things. Some event happened where he felt humiliated by Patni. I told him that, look, I decide that you don't decide, because he's running the company. So he gave up and said he will start a company. And he got his 6 colleagues. And he gave equity to all of them. He didn't have to. He took a salary which was only 20% of the salary he was getting earlier. And he showed leadership example and sacrifice. But it was controlled. Then they found Pune to be expensive. They came to Bangalore in 1982.
Okay.
From 82 to 1993, they only grew to maybe 3 million or something. Very low. India has a closed economy. You couldn't export software. Software is exported by floppy disk.
Okay.
And when you had a 64 kbs link with the customer sitting there saying, what are you doing sending out? I mean, upset.
Right.
You should not talk about this time. Still we got the HTTP. So then I joined, they made an IPO in 1993, July. And I was running some other company called Prakash Leasing. I bought some shares in IPO.
Okay.
I went to the IPO presentation, questioned them and all that. Then in October of 93, I went to an analyst meet they had in Bombay, first time. Vallabh Bansali was running Enan. He did it. And I asked 3 questions. Vallabh told Murthy, don't answer these questions. Then after January of 94, Nandan met me and said, why don't you come and join? So I joined by March or something. I lost my father in April. Very traumatic period for me. But then I grew, because I told Murthy, I don't want to work where I'm an employee. I want to be independent. See, in my earlier company, it was a Punjabi family company. They had a fight. And one of them came and said, hey, Mohan, tu kyun baat karta hai? Tu to naukar hai.
Achha.
The family debuts you, tu to naukar hai. They're superior. I'm Malik hai, tu naukar hai. I'm better, 100% more educated than him. That's what hurt me. So I went there and said, I don't want to be an employee anywhere. I don't want to be ill-treated. But in October, then we did a private placement. That time we produced an annual report which was sold in the black market in Bombay because we set standards in disclosure, financial reporting. We got the gap of 7 countries, quarterly reporting. All the practice you have corporate governance, Infosys did first before it was law.
I see.
So because Murthy told us, we may not be the biggest, but you have to be the best. And we ought to be the best. Then for NASDAQ listing, we said in 95, we'll do the NASDAQ listing by 2000. Started preparing in 97. We did all the US gap ourselves, everything ourselves. We finally listed in 99. We were, I think, $80-90 million then.
Okay.
And we are raising 72 million. On the roadshow, I think valuation doubled, nearly double. And, I still remember that when we were on the road, in the second week, there's no book. So Murthy told us to call it off. We got agitated. So I had to speak to Vallabh Bansali and pacify him. And for 72 million, we got a book of 3.6 billion. And then we had to fight with the bankers for the pricing. They suggested $37. We said $34.
Okay.
First time they said somebody has asked for a lower price than what we suggest. Everybody fights for a higher price.
I see.
Because Murthy said we are only issuing 3% of the stock. And we all said that. We also said It's not only Murthy, we are also responsible. Everybody gives credit for Murthy, but it's a team effort. And we want the 97% to do well, not this 3% and all. See, oil price, them 97%. All the jokers whose stock price has fallen after listing, they cream the market. Who got hurt? The new entrants are 10, 15%. 85% of old entrants. Their value has gone down.
Yes, sir.
They should have protected them and not cream the 15%. 15% has lost, 85% has lost. They get black in their face because they're greedy. They don't understand markets. So we got listed when the Murthy was sitting in the front and the cameras were like this, the screen at the back, and then the listing price came $53. It was a tremendous thing. And Murthy said, a giant step for Infosys, a small step for India on a TV interview that time.
I see.
And then we got our face on the NASDAQ screen for the listing. Then we came back to India. And on the way back, we landed here. There were people waiting to receive me in the airport. And when the listing happened, NASDAQ, there were 5,000 people in the campus are jumping up and down. So we built a great country. And Murthy is an extraordinary leader. Abhijit, let me say on record on your podcast.
Yes.
There are possibly 5 people from business who need to be given Bharat Ratna. I hope Modi is listening and gives them, and he must take the stand. One is J.R.D. Tata. He's already got Bharat Ratna, right?
Yes.
Gentile, great entrepreneur, big professional. Nehru oppressed him, suppressed him. You know his stories.
Yes.
Never allowed him to expand, but he was a good. Post-independence, the tallest leader. Then came Dhirubhai Ambani in the 70s. Dhirubhai Ambani showed India how to build scale. He bust all the rules. Nobody could stop him. And he built scale. He brought in the equity culture. He brought in scale. He did unbelievable thing. He changed the face of India. And Reliance is a result of that.
Yes.
Next is Narayan Murthy, the 90s. Infosys came up, set the standard for corporate governance. For the first time, the passport had great value. Oh, you're a software engineer. You're from Bangalore. The world look at it now.
I see.
And Infosys is the poster child, setting standards, going everywhere. Extraordinary leadership. We hired people. We gave stock options. 20,000 people out of 40,000 got stock options, became millionaires.
I see.
So the great things that Murthy and everybody, all of us did. So I think that worked. And then in the last decade, 2 people, Mukesh Ambani for getting Jio. Jio is unbelievable.
Has transformed India.
$50 billion he spent, and he transformed India at a time when he came out of the battle with his brother, and he did it. Unbelievable, man.
Yes.
Mukesh Ambani is an absolutely brilliant man. His understanding of business, his willingness to take risk, unbelievable what he has done for this country. Then Nandan Nilekani.
Okay.
Nandan Nilekani for the last 12 years has given us Aadhaar, has given us UPI, has given us the India Stack, has given us threats, has given us this new platform for mom and pop shops to come, ONDC and others. He's unbelievable. He's transformed India. There's nobody like him anywhere in the world who's transformed a country by having a series of digital initiatives, creating what he called digital public goods. So he is a Bharat Ratna. Because these 5 people have demonstrated how to change this country and become role models over the last 75 years.
Right.
So Infi was a great thing. And I'm very fortunate to be part of a great country which grew its economy from 275 billion to 3.34 trillion last year. I was very grateful to be part of a great industry which grew from 50 million exports to $200 billion last year, IT services, and to part of a great company which set standards, Infosys, and did so much for people in this country.
Right.
Okay, what is this Bharat Ratna, if I pronounce it correctly? Like, is it some sort of a contribution by a country or recognition that you've done well for a country? Like I think we have something in Slovakia like that, but I don't think anyone pays any attention to that. But I'm curious what that is. Please let me know in the comments.
So where do you see India in 2050? How optimistic are you?
I'm very optimistic. India will be among the top 3 nations, that's for sure. Whether it will overtake United States to be more than China, I don't know.
Okay.
In total GDP, it might. In per capita, it will not.
Okay.
Will never be what the US is in per capita. It will not happen. Because we are undervalued. Today, if you take PPP, Abhijit, our PPP is $12.2 trillion, as again nominal 3.4. China nominal is 20, PPP is about 32, higher than the US.
Right.
So China's PPP multiple is 0.6 times. India's PPP multiple is 3.5 times. We're totally undervalued the economy.
Okay.
So it has to show up in the valuation someday. So I'm very positive. We'll have an aging population, lesser number of young people. The diversity within state may expand. That is the cause of danger. So some of the states will be failed states like Bengal and Bihar. And I don't know whether any change in politics will come, same cacophonous politics. Hopefully young people will enter politics and try to make this country better, but India will go forward. There'll be greater respect for Hinduism among the Hindu community, because once they stop being beggars, because they're poor, they get pride in what they are.
Yes.
And the world will respect India more for being an ideal democracy, extremely diverse, extremely inclusive, because once they understand what the culture is, what India is doing, because this is the biggest, greatest experiment in democracy in human history.
Right.
You can abuse it, you can piss on it, doesn't matter. We don't care a damn. We'll take it forward.
Indeed.
Yes. And you ask any young Indian of any substance, they'll say, I'll take India forward. Look at this. Didn't have it 20 years back.
Didn't have it.
Nice.
Yes. Didn't have it when I came into the workforce. We are beaten. And for us to do something, we are rebels. So I'm very, very positive.
I like this guy.
Thank you so much for a wonderful conversation. I'm going to end on the very positive note. Thank you, sir.
We have to be positive, Abhijit.
Absolutely.
Abhijit, I'm 65.
Yes.
I lead to the time when India was a closed economy. Not that we felt it. We are happy.
Mm.
We didn't know what is better. I lead to the time of emergency.
Right.
Where is to go out to the gate and wait for the newspaper to come, and the newspaper is to come with a blank front page.
I see.
Yeah. Where they didn't allow the editorial and all, they bashed them up. Then we are leading through the Janata Party experiment, where we all march on the street, we felt the thing, but it failed. We lived through the Indira Gandhi coming back, right? And we lived through liberalization.
Yes.
Where India opened up.
Yes.
And we are much better today than earlier. And it's going to get much better. We have more money to educate our children, to live better. Yes, the mobility, there are pains in mobility challenges. There are environment challenges which we should solve. Hopefully they're solving. There are enough voices there. So we have to be positive.
Yes.
And we have a great future.
Agreed, sir.
Because we're not aging like the West.
Yes.
So we are growing. The consumption per capita is still low. And people income go up, they'll consume more.
Yes.
So they need more investment. And we have brilliant intellectual capacity.
Yes.
We have filed the third largest number of patents and papers in the world. So US, China, India. You can't compare us with a small country like UK, 65 million.
You can't.
People make that challenge. We should compare with China.
Yes.
And we're going up, multiple engines of growth. And young people who are proud of the country.
Yes.
So I think this is fantastic, man. It's a great time to be.
It's a great time.
I'm working harder than ever.
I see.
I worked very hard in my life, 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I see.
Till I left Infosys in 2006.
I see.
Because I said I want my life back. You know, it's very rigorous. We did so much. I wanted my life back. I left. Now I'm seeing growth. I'm seeing entrepreneurs. I'm seeing this excitement. Yes, there are failures. There are things happening. But the momentum is so good. And technology is empowering every Indian. You see miracles happen in this country. So if you're not optimistic and an Indian, go to the US.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I believe this is the end to this video, and what a smart person. It was incredible. Like just thinking about the entire podcast. I know I've done it in parts, but man, like he is just so smart. I always look up to smart people, and sometimes I wish I knew economics so I would understand a bigger had a bigger kind of understanding of things. It's certainly very, very interesting, and I love the fact like how proud he is of his country. Do let me know. Also, I was thinking as I was watching him, like the kind of prognosis for India to 2050. What do you think is actually going to happen? Do let me know in the comments. Like, how do you see India evolving in to 2050, or I have my opinions that I've shared before, but it's nonetheless very interesting to have a variety of opinions from different parts of India. I love that he's passionate about his country and he's proud, and I love it. And I think I love it because I don't feel like in my own country that's the same, and unfortunately. And when he said that's the generation that they weren't proud, and I feel like that's kind of like my generation of people, and I do still feel like if you want to get an insight in Slovakia, that people are ashamed of being from Slovakia. It's quite corrupt. We've had quite corrupt governments, I think, from the start, but at the same time, I think there are also like a natural evolution of things. Like, for example, he was talking, and I'm not making this example as an analogy, but more like, he was talking about Nehru and, things that he did good, things he did bad. And I think it's always a case when you have a new government and when people... So, for example, Slovakia is way newer, right, than India, but you always have that period of, I don't know, maybe it's even 100 years where you have to, or 40 or 50 years where, shit things happen, but gradually things get worked out. And and it's for me, it's very inspiring. Actually, I quite like that he said that the young generation really is proud to be where they're proud for, which is, I personally believe, great, and supports their own nation. So yeah, I believe this will be it to today's video. If you did like it, please give thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, please do take care. Sending much love. Bye-bye.